I learned what was at stake, lack of transparency about relationships with the board. Well, all of that has been completely exposed, and here we're having a vote, and I think it's more overwhelming than I would have expected. This is a 5-year price target, as all of ours are, and what has to happen is an autonomous taxi platform, Tesla's autonomous taxi platform. So robo-taxis.
I discovered that there was a lack of openness regarding the board's ties. Now that everything has been made public, we are holding a vote. Additionally, it seems more daunting than I had anticipated. Like all of our pricing targets, this one is set for 5 years, and what is required is an autonomous taxi platform, such as Tesla's robo-taxis, which is based on a SaaS business. Auto gross margins currently hover around 16%. In the SaaS industry, gross margins are closer to 80%. In terms of autonomous mobility in general, this is the biggest AI initiative on the planet, and I believe it will gain traction just as swiftly. Naturally, during the past 10 years, there's been a shift toward FSD, and safety data and fully autonomous vehicles are now being observed. It is estimated that the average American automobile travels around 200,000 miles between collisions. You see a Tesla with around 600,000 miles on autopilot and no FSD, 3.2 million miles with full self-driving, and an older model, not even the most recent, 6 months ago. Many individuals draw comparisons between the current situation and the early days of electricity or railroads. In fact, the majority of the hundreds of businesses that developed during those times went bankrupt. Few parties have the resources, and I would argue the strategic vision to truly advance this enormous possibility, which is why we are seeing such clarity in the situation. You also mentioned the 4 businesses. It's interesting to note that Elon identified those 4 businesses himself. That's fascinating. Furthermore, railroads were built on a geography by geography basis. This is occurring so quickly and on a global scale all at once. Therefore, I believe that there is a great deal of clarity. Every year, their revenue is increasing threefold, and this corporation will rapidly turn a profit if its prediction or guidance is, this is the amount, according to reports, is around $11 billion 0 cents for the following year and $26 billion 0 cents or so the year after. There is more to Tesla's remarkable success than merely watching from the sidelines. With the most recent information on Tesla, stock price targets, innovation, and all things Elon Musk, Seeking Alpha is the one-stop shop for Tesla bulls and those with an eye for finding the next big thing in the stock market. Our channel may get a commission if a customer makes a purchase after clicking on the affiliate links in the description. Great entrepreneurs surround visionary leaders. I understand that the question may have anything to do with management turnover, and in businesses that are expanding rapidly from startup to scaling, we see that a new type of management team is required. Therefore, we are not surprised. We constantly examine the talent they are attracting and keeping. He will, in my opinion, also have a significant influence on how to encourage new technology so that the United States keeps moving forward rather than being slowed down, as has been the case in many instances over the past several years. So I'm quite enthused about Elon's involvement, especially in space, traveling to Mars and so on. He is a man of principles. White piece of paper, let me consider what the proper approach to think about what government should look like. Similar to what he did in the car business, which is now becoming the autonomous industry, would be if we were to do this over again. It's rather thrilling because we've done the study. Tesla is really providing us with a great deal of reassurance. Few analysts, in my opinion, have conducted the type of autonomous mobility study that we have. Our investing horizon is longer. We conducted the research for that reason. I believe an increasing number of people, analysts, will need to begin modeling what this implies as we approach Robotaxi Day 10/10 this week or next week. In my opinion, they will come to the conclusion that this is a software as a service business with gross margins of at least 80% on that side of the model, but the EV side has margins of 15 to 30%. They will also need to raise their expectations. Since Elon has been forecasting autonomous in the next 2 years for the past 5 years, I believe that experts will likely take his words more seriously this time. The speed at which Tesla will implement its plans and expand nationally or possibly internationally is another important consideration. As you are aware, Elon has a huge picture in mind, and I believe he has set up Tesla to capture the majority of this market. If you disagree with our optimism, you may adjust the factors to see how large this market will be. From the perspective of revenue, it's huge. If our study is accurate, the platform potential, those that host these networks, of which Tesla will be one, represents a $4 to 5 cent to 5 trillion to 5 cents revenue opportunity over the next 5 to 10 years. It's winner take most once more. For Tesla, this represents a revenue potential of over $1 trillion over the next 5 years. It's a massive concept. Our biggest stake in the flagship strategy is Tesla. Once a stock exceeds 10% of the portfolio, we are unable to purchase it. Instead, we usually allow it to reach a certain proportion before beginning to reduce its holdings. Since it is a very volatile stock, we like to have the flexibility to purchase it if it drops off. We have allowed Tesla to account for 15% of the portfolio, as you can see from the fact that we disclose our holdings at the end of each day. We have been making very little cuts to it because it has appreciated 50% more than the rest of our portfolio. We believe that 15% is a decent amount of exposure from the perspective of risk management. As you are aware, we released our model and study, and our price objective is shown in our Tesla model. It's $2,600, 0 cents in 5 years. And we do believe that the likelihood of hitting that top price objective has significantly risen, since once more regulation is likely to be less of a showstopper under the incoming administration than it was during this one. Autonomous vehicles are on the verge of surpassing human-driven vehicles in terms of safety. Therefore, I believe that robotaxis, autonomous mobility, will be widely available in the US much sooner. Analysts were compelled to think about what autonomous means for this business model after the events of Cybercab Day a few weeks ago and Tesla's most recent earnings report. One example of a SaaS model is an autonomous taxi network. Analysts need some time to do this. Additionally, I am aware that if they observe what transpired at Cybercab Day, which is actually a product announcement, but it was explained in greater detail for financial analysts in the earnings report, they will begin to do these models and realize that this is more than just a car manufacturer with EV margins. Electric vehicle margins are currently lower than the 20 to 30% range that they were in the past. The gross margins for this software as a service approach are 80 to 90% rather than 20 to 30%. The model is entirely different. The proof of concept for Waymo, Alphabet's Waymo, has been intriguing. Being autonomous is a reality now, not a pipe dream. And we're eager to watch how Tesla enters the market. However, are you aware of anyone else who is as optimistic about Tesla? That would be Seeking Alpha, today's sponsor. The greatest online source of pro-Tesla news is Seeking Alpha. To learn about the most recent Tesla offering, pricing goals, innovation, and all Elon Musk has to offer, click the affiliate link in the paragraph below. There is a link to a very exceptional offer in the description. Actually, there have been a few events in the past month that have boosted our trust in Tesla. It is now ranked second in the flagship fund, therefore it is already high. However, we were alerted to the potential share gains for Tesla when we observed that GM and Ford were really stepping away from EVs until they turned a profit. The perplexing thing is that unless they scale, GM and Ford will not be profitable with electric. Naturally, GM has also essentially shut down Cruise, in part because to regulatory concerns and in part out of caution. Regarding autonomy, we do think Tesla is in a strong position to become the US's leading platform for autonomous taxis. Our confidence is also increased there when Cruise pulls out. Since each unit now symbolizes the possibility for a robotaxi and a robotaxi fleet, we want Tesla to grow its operations. From a margin perspective, the robotaxi fleet or service will resemble a software as a service SaaS company. Because they now have so much option value, we believe that maximizing units is a really wise move. Our stock's price goal, which I believe is just now for 2027, because we do have a 5-year investment horizon, is around 2,000 cents, which falls between our base and bull case ranges of $1,400 0 cents and $2,500 0 cents.